What is going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good Sunday. Bobby Fye and Eric Sheets-Haber. We're going to be talking some football. We've got only a 10-game main slate this week, and I think it's a pretty interesting week. I've did a lot more digging. I've sort of had to, rethink some of my strategies and things because it's not been a great start. I did a little bit more diving this week into some deeper plays, and we'll see how it pans out this week. Sheets, any overall thoughts and everything before we get into some positions and stacks? And
yeah, only 10 game slate, but yet still, I'm getting. What I usually do is I update projections twice. Once at like 10 in the morning, and then another like after we do this show.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I do my 10 in the morning, I pretend I was going to play and just do my whole process. I'm getting like just an overwhelming concentration of players. Like I'm getting just way too much of like, it seems like a lot of people. So I'm going to probably do something where I make sure I get a little more diversity, like diversification. Like even with a 10 game slate, I mean, football still carries quite a bit of variance. And I got like some 40% owned guys that are just, I mean, like not that they're bad or anything, but I'd like to get a little bit more exposure to other guys. And the other thing I guess we're going to talk about when we get to it is, are the various different running back values and running back in general, to see, whether we can trust some of the usage that are being projected by some of these guys, whether we need to go differently. And I think the running back discussion is going to be probably pretty important.
Yeah, that to me is the big thing that stands out on this slate is that there's an incredible amount of good running back options, and trying to decide between them is really tough. I guess we'll start off with nothing's really changed in terms of my favorite stacks. I really am annoyed that people are texting me about other work stuff during a Sunday while we're doing this stuff, but all right. Anyway, but yeah, the stacks for me, I mean, like Dallas and the Jets, if it's not obvious, I don't think the Dallas side is going to be very high owned, which I think makes that interesting. And I don't think I do think that the Jets side will be extremely owned, but Vegas, Indy, Chargers, and Washington, Detroit as like its own thing. I have a little bit of interest in Miami, Carolina, a little bit of interest in New Orleans and the Giants.
Well, let's talk about two of the teams that you mentioned, because I think that it's an interesting discussion. Like the Saints game as opposed to the Cowboys Jets game. Mm-hmm. So the Cowboys Jets game is going to get a lot of ownership because, I mean, basically the Cowboys are involved in these types of games a lot, and the Jets also, they got involved in that game against Pittsburgh, which people remember, and Justin Fields had a 41-yard run to boost his results or whatever. But the I don't think that either of these teams like plays fast. Like they yeah. I think that if either team had their way, they would cram the ball down the other team's throat. I don't know if they can get away with it, but I feel that that's the case. We're as opposed to, and again, I feel kind of cool that I picked up on this before everybody else did. But you remember when I was watching the Saints game against Seattle like a few weeks ago, even, I mean, it was a blowout. They lost by 100. But I made the comment to you that one thing about them is they play. You know what I mean? Like and after that, and after this most recent game, now everybody, people are catching on and they're publishing stuff, which is the reality is that they play probably the fastest in the whole NFL. I mean, they play a lot of plays. So listen, I don't even think this is a particularly hot take at this point, but I think this Saints game, I think that's I think it's just as good of a chance to shoot out with a good, and with more plays than the Cowboys game. And I think the Cowboys game is going to get, maybe not that much more ownership, but enough ownership where you want to make sure you get some of the Saints, New Orleans, and the other two stacks that, we obviously still make sense are Vegas, Indy, and then this Miami Carolina game also looks like something that people are going to play.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if the people are playing you're going to see that much on the quarterbacks in the Carolina game.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to see that much on the quarterbacks in the right. New Orleans.
But Fields game. For sure. I mean,
the problem with that game is they're going to play fast, but there's it's it's hard to find big playability between these teams. You hope Scadaboo maybe breaks one, or even that Dart breaks one, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess leading into to the QBs, Justin Fields is my favorite, and I don't think I certainly won't be alone in that. Daniel Jones and Fields and Herbert are sort of my main ones, and they're going to be the most popular. I wouldn't mind getting to some more Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. Jaden Daniels is playing in a brace. I really like the play of Daniels taking a shot, but the problem is if he can't use his legs fully, I'm kind of a little bit less interested. So I'm fairly near the chalk on quarterbacks this week for what it's worth.
So for me, I'm a little different, I guess. Then so my top owned quarterback, again, this is if I had to put in now, is actually Kyler Murray. I'm getting
a lot of that too, and I don't love it.
I don't mind it because you know what? You have this running back problem. You have this running back thing with Arizona, and the one guy can run is Kyler Murray. And if it's also possible that they just see what their running back situation is. You know what? I'm just gonna move up and down the field. I'll use Trey McBride. I'll use Harrison, who's shown better stuff. And so I don't mind it, actually. And the second highest owned, third, I will say, is Fields. But the second highest owned is another just kind of like easy guy to play, and that's Daniel Jones. Big total, he has running upside and all that stuff. So my two top guys are Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones right now, with then Justin Fields third, and then Justin Herbert.
Yeah, if you look throughout all of the lineups, I'm sure. I mean, you're going to end up with almost all your lineups are going to have a player from Indianapolis, whether it's Taylor, Daniel Jones, Pittman, or most likely the tight end. It just seems so sure that you're going to end up with like tons of Tyler Warren. It does worry me a little bit, because they'll give Warren carries near the goal line. They did last week, and he ran for a touchdown. That kind of hurts that's a little bit probably of a knock on Taylor, and when it's such a deep running back week, something I was considering. But it's hard on its face not to like it. You hope the Raiders can keep up. And like I said, Geno does well in these weird situations where they're not supposed to have any chance. And maybe they can hang in there enough. Indy worries me. Indy's a good team. There's a little fear of that game ending up like 30-3 or something like that. But still, Indy's going to have guys who get there. Let's transition over to running back, because I think it is interesting. And I think by the way, I'm sort of with you on. I have Kyler Murray just barely beneath the other guys currently, but I'd like to get to a little more Dak. I'd like to get to a little shot at Justin Fields, maybe even. I'm sorry, not Justin Fields. Of what's his name?
Texan Dart.
No, I meant of Jalen Hurts. I'd like to get a little more of that personally. That's just one that we don't have the major primetime rushers on this slate. So maybe Jalen Hurts can win this on his own with a couple rushing touchdowns. You know what I mean? Just to win the position. Anyway, as we move over to running back, though, my highest on running back is Breece Hall. I have it Hall, Achane, Taylor, Scadaboo. I'm getting too much Javonte Williams, enough to where I don't love that play, even though I like that game. I would rather play Scadaboo. I don't love the Rico Dowdle thing. I'll take a little bit of it. I'd like to try and get to more Saquon and Derrick Henry. There's an interesting narrative, which maybe it's too big a slate, but I mean, he's going to get opportunities, a great game spot anyway. But David Montgomery's sister was paralyzed in a car accident, and she's going to be at the game for the first time today. She's like sort of always watched, every game of his and all this. So there's, and you have the player's coach that Campbell is. You have a feeling he's probably going to get him one or two. So I think David Montgomery is an interesting low-owned play. Those are the guys who I'm getting. I'm not as high on the Rachaad White as others. I like Woody Marks, and I don't know why I'm not getting to a little more of him. I guess it's just because it's a pretty strong position today. What do you get showing up at running back?
Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm getting, and then I want to talk about a couple of things that you mentioned. So right now, again, I just have 40 million% like Achane and Breece Hall. Like 42% of each of them. And then I have Dowdle next at 26%. Then Taylor. Let me just make sure of all this. That's all accurate. And I do have 22% Rachaad White. Let me give you my kind of, again, I don't know too much ball, but here's my ball opinion on all these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about the Rico Dowdle play is that Miami can't stop anybody. So I actually don't mind that at all.
Okay.
That's one thing. Next thing, the David Montgomery thing. I mean, I think he's got to be a lock to get a touchdown. You know, like for all the things that you just said.
Yeah, he's got to be the props.
I think he's actually a favored in the betting markets to get a touchdown.
Yeah.
In part because of that. You know, listen, this is the thing that DFS, you know, projections don't factor in because you can't, you know. But I mean, he's just got to be more likely to get a touchdown than the projections are indicating. It just has to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do with that. You know, I don't know if I'm just going to force some of it in. Maybe I'll. It's a late game, right? So maybe I'll use that to late swap. That makes some sense. Mm-hmm. But I think that's very reasonable.
Certainly on the afternoon slate, you can play him as well.
The other thing, okay, so a couple of other guys you mentioned. So the Rashad White it really feels to me like a tough fade. You know, like what makes it fadeable is just quite honestly Seattle's defense. You know, like but the fact that I don't know that he could contribute both in the pass and whatever. But then again, you know, they have other guys, you know, and I think this has happened before. Who's that? There's some other dude who showed up one day, I think it was last season that this happened 2-3 years ago. I don't remember. So I guess I'm just talking through it. So I guess I could fade that if I had to. I'm going to and the Arizona thing. I'm kind of happy that, well, not happy, but I was wondering if any of these guys were going to get completely steamed, like if Michael Carter was going to get steamed, if whatever. And I guess the coach speak wasn't strong enough to get people to really buy into the fact that Michael Carter would be like the guy, I guess. So I'm kind of glad I don't really need to take that. Omari and Hampton looks I'm getting like 20% of him. I like that. Taylor, you mentioned. So I'm gonna go over the same one. This could be like the $1 million take later if you want, or I can just give it to you now. But I talked about this on Tuesday. I mean, you get Derrick Henry at like 0% ownership, on a game where Lamar Jackson is not playing. I mean, look, I don't know what to say. I mean, like if he gets like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, I mean, literally no one's going to be surprised.
Yeah.
And yet no one's going to play him.
Yeah.
So I might have to force it. Now, listen, I know all of it. You know, Houston's defense is really good, and Derrick Henry's confidence is kind of shot, you know, and all this stuff. But as you like to say sometimes, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm getting a guy with 40-point upside at no ownership. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna have to try a little bit of it. So that's my take on all this.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. You could, I mean, one thing is you not in the same situation, but tough matchup even. But like one of these days, Saquon Barkley is going to have a big game. You know, right?
You too.
And we just haven't seen it yet. But I kind of. That's another intriguing one to me, but I like your Henry idea. I'm rebuilding right now, so why don't you let me know? And it is kind of interesting because we say that I think we thought some guys would be more popular when we talked last. Like I thought Malik Washington would like be more than 1 or 2% owned, but then as the same point I was making, unless you're playing Henry or Barkley or whatever, you don't really need that much value because there's nobody that expensive this week, right?
Right.
So that's sort of like had the other effect of it, but. What are you getting at wide receiver the most?
Yeah. So, okay. So it seems like the logical thing to do would be to make sure that you got Jalen Waddle. You know, Tyreek Hill is out, and there you have it. I'm only getting 20% of him. I guess that's not little or anything like that, but I thought that he was going to get steamed a little more. What can I say? I'm still getting this freaking 40% of Jacoby Myers, and I just don't want it. Not that I don't want it. I mean, I want some Jacoby Myers, But who died and left him Puka Nakua? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, I guess the answer is Brock Bowers, because they don't have like that many. I mean, it's got to be Tucker or him, right? Like, who else are we looking at even?
I guess so. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting 40% of him. I'm getting 35% of Jackson Smith and Jigba for all the reasons that you talked about for the last 3 years. You know what I mean? Like Tampa, you don't run against, and JSN, it's basically the focal point of the offense, really. And he could obviously have a very, very big game. Other wide receivers, I'm not getting that much of, honestly. So that's okay. Olave, certainly want to get some of that. I presume that people are going to get the Garrett Wilson as part of that Dallas about the Jets thing. And I'll also shout out another guy that you've shouted out the whole season, and I'm getting like 20% of the Quentin Johnston from the I was about to say the Clippers, from the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm getting all the Charger guys. I'm getting Johnston. I'm forcing in McConkey a little bit. I'm getting to some Keenan Allen, but mostly he's the lowest of my ownership of any of them. But the Quentin Johnston he's been like the fourth best receiver in football like this year. Like it's kind of like I've been saying it every week, and it feels like he just always puts up a game, and this is a great spot for them, especially after the bounce back loss to the Giants. I think that they're gonna air it out against Washington, and I do like that receiving core. I have Jacoby Myers also right at the top. Garrett Wilson, Michael Pittman, Nico Collins is maybe more over the field. I've got like 25% Nico Collins. I really like that play today against this banged up Baltimore secondary. So I'm into that with the Collins. Pickens, who I mentioned, I really like. Basically a lot of the same names. I guess the other ones I'm getting different with. The one I'm getting the most different, Jameson Williams, I'm going to have like close to 20%. And that's over like 270 lineups. I think this, like I keep saying, there's going to be a spot where he does it, and there is sometimes. But last week they couldn't hit him on the downfield balls. I'm going to say that he'll be my millionaire play again. I do think they get him going against the Bengals. You can give up just big plays. It just spells like a perfect Jameson Williams spot to me. So I'm going to go with the Jameson Williams play as my contrarian, most contrarian.
Love it.
All right, and Rhodey's popping in. What's up, man?
Let's let Rhodey catch up. Why don't you give a real quick rundown of your favorite quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers?
Well, I heard that you were said Jameson Williams. I like that. Goff a little low owned in that game. I like JMO. I like Laporta stacked up a little different from Gibbs or I'm on St. Brown. Other quarterbacks that I like. Don't mind. I'm getting a lot of Daniel Jones a little bit. Justin Fields, obviously the chalk. Herbert's my other stack, my main lineup. I really like him. I like Herbert and Goff as my main guys. My get weird stack is probably CJ Stroud, Nico.
You just can't leave it alone, can you, Rhodey?
No, I can't. But
every week he goes for
the Ravens defense has actually been bad.
Oh, it makes sense. And the Ravens, they're missing everybody too.
So he's cheap, and Nico can have big games, and they're not good against tight ends. So Dalton Schultz should finally get a game. He's getting higher usage lately. Running backs, David Montgomery's back home in his hometown. He could go off, opposite of the stack I just gave you. But I like him to be different, a little bit off the Gibbs.
Yeah, we actually mentioned Montgomery. That's cool that you mentioned.
Yeah, Montgomery's cheaper, a better price. Wow, he's that low.
But it's also his sister who's paralyzed in a car accident.
And this is the first game he's going to watch. So there's a lot of narratives with that.
Yeah,
I do agree. I like that. You could go if you want to stack Justin Fields weird, stack him with Breece Hall. He's kind of owned though. I like the Rico Dowdle and Rashad White cheap value plays to make things work a little bit. Jonathan Taylor's probably my favorite spend up option. I like him in that game a lot. The Colts game off of Daniel Jones.
You like him better than A-Chain?
Yeah, I was about to mention A-Chain's good, but I like Taylor better than A-Chain. I put Taylor in one of my main lineups already, and I'm going to fit him in. Now A-Chain will be in my cash lineup. I do play a little cash still. He's a cash play for me. Yeah. Scatterboo at 6K is a decent price. Don't forget about Hampton in the Chargers game. It looked like everyone went away from him. He had a monster week last week, and everyone went away from him. I don't really like any of the other cheapos, like the 4K guys, like Carter and them. We don't understand the roles yet. I don't like that. And that's me catching up really quick. JSN's probably the favorite receiver of the day. I love Jamison Williams, Nico Collins. Jacoby Myers should be chalkier now. That I think, did they rule Brock Bowers out? I haven't caught up to the news.
Yeah, he's out.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I heard. So yeah, Jacoby should be getting a pretty heavy workload now. I know you got a little Trey Tucker a little bit. And other cheap guys like that Doolin for the Colts with no Pierce. My favorite receiver though is Ladd McConkey. At his price today for the Charger stack, he is gonna get a game. I can't let that one go either, Bobby. So, like, I love Ladd at 5,500 is really good, and I'm taking some shots at Jamar Chase, some of my golf stack run back today. I know everyone's probably not going there, but I think the Lions defense has no good corners, and I know they're not good, but they're gonna throw the ball eventually, and he's gonna ask for the ball. They were playing in the game. They don't look very thrilled to be there, but they were playing still to the end. And I get there's a lot of complications, but I think he's going to get going today. That's a quick rundown.
I think it makes it was a good rundown. I'm trying to figure out where this Ashton Dole, are we just are people in the industry just making this play up? Like,
I'm recording.
I'm really confused by it. Like, I understand there's been some speak about the Adonai Mitchell and he's going to get whatever.
Yeah, I should have said I probably like Mitchell more, but I like things are coming to Doolin a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure out where this is all
3K min on DK. I don't know why.
No, but everybody else has been talking about it all morning. It's not just you. It's like I can't figure it out quite.
I should have said now thinking about it, I probably like Mitchell a lot more. He's 3,600. He's not the min K, but all morning I've been listening to videos while I've been out and about, but Doolin's been popping up a lot. So maybe he got more chalky since I looked at him last night.
You like any of the I think Turpin is out for the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, so Tolbert, right, is the guy.
Yeah, but is there anybody else?
3,600. Yeah, he's steamed up a little bit, but not bad. Maybe we switch to that. I like that.
Yeah, but who is there anybody else? Oh, Pickens, right? I'm sorry.
Flournoy, he gets work already at 31. Nobody talks
Pickens
about
and
him.
Tolbert. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the Tolbert is reasonable to gamble on. It's just
probably better than Doolin at 3K. I take Mitchell or Tolbert, both 3,600. Those are the cheap guys.
I'll take Washington over either of them personally.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention those guys, right? What are those guys' prices?
Washington's 3,900 and what's his name is 54. Waddle's 54.
They actually got that Chris Moore projected over McCaffrey just slightly. They're about the same projection at 3K flat. Chris Moore, Luke McCaffrey 3,700, that 3,700. A couple guys, and then you got Jalen Lane at 3,100. He's projected pretty decent too. So yeah, one of those guys is going to go up. I like Debo a lot today. I forgot to mention. I don't know, but yeah, maybe it's one of those cheap guys that get going today. I like that call too by Bobby there.
Yeah, I think that the Debo play certainly makes sense. I mentioned before you got on here, I really like the Chargers receivers, and I think that people will go away from McConkey. Like I like Quentin Johnston. Like I said, I think he's.
I know you're a big Quentin Johnston guy.
But now is the time to pivot. I think because the ownership going one way, and they're going to have a McConkey game at some point. So I think now would be a good time to go get your McConkey shares. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I'll tell you who I'm going to give you one more wide receiver. Actually, really, I guess two. No, one more wide receiver is to piggyback off of my Kyler Murray. I think we go right back to Marvin Harrison.
I like that play. Yeah.
Yeah, you play him with McBride. I think that's the way you're gonna. I mean, that's the way they're going. I think that's what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna try to pass the ball down the field on them. I mean,
I'd rather do that than
rely on Michael Carter and Dimmer Carter.
Yeah, I'd rather play that stack than the 4K running backs. I like that. Yeah, Sheens.
That's fair enough. I have a hard time watching Marvin Harrison play. I'd like to watch a guy who once gets separation from anybody, and I'd like to watch a guy who can catch a ball. Like
who can catch one over the middle without being afraid.
Without being afraid, the other team getting the ball 30 yards downfield because he fumbles it right into their hands. Look, I was high on him when he was young. I thought he was going to be better than this, but I have a hard time watching. I actually think it's a good week I like the McBride idea. I like the double tight end, Tyler Warren, Trey McBride. I don't think that's going to be. I mean, they're going to be owned, obviously, those guys, but I don't think that combo is going to be that popular. I also like Ferguson if you want to mix in a different one. But I think they try to get McBride in the end zone if they are handling things and want to controlling the game, which I think they should against Tennessee. I think that they really want to get McBride in the end zone. It would be my.
I mean, we're pivoting, I guess, to tight end right now. I really would have no problem. I mean, I'm getting like sprinkles of other guys, but I would really have no problem if my entire tight end pool was Tyler Warren, Trey McBride, and Jake Ferguson. Like, there are other guys. I mean, honestly, that can do stuff, but those guys are in either or good environments and they're talented. You know what I mean? Like, I think
they're actually a part of the team instead of just a guy who's like, blocking.
Right.
They're part of the offense.
Yeah. So that's I guess that's my whole tight end pool. Not my whole tight end pool. Listen, I'm playing enough Linus where I'm going to have other dudes like Zach Ertz or whatever. But I really don't think that in 20 max or below you need to have anybody except for those three guys.
Yeah. And as Scott just mentioned here, he said, I'm guessing Waller is popular. No, nobody's playing Darren Waller. I will play Darren Waller, though. I have no problem playing a guy with that catch radius with no other receivers with all the receiver issues and everything. Like, I think that it makes perfect sense to go right back to taking some Waller shots. He's so cheap. And, look, outside of the top three guys, if you want a guy in a different range, Waller, Johnson, Mason Taylor, Zach Ertz, those would be the guys other than the Warren, Ferguson, McBride for me. We're still waiting officially to get official word, I think, on Juwan Johnson. Double check on that. He's questionable, but I think he's going to be a go. But
for what it's worth, tight ends are going off in this first game, right?
Is it? Who? Let's see. Oh yeah, we got the Josh Hill
Oliver and Fannin both
Oliver,
back at tight ends, right?
Dude, what about the Cam Akers to Josh Oliver connection?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was from Cam Akers.
Yeah,
Cam Akers' first ever pass.
Cam Akers to Josh Oliver. That was the correlation you needed in the showdown.
I have 4 friends at that game right now.
Oh, nice.
They're big Vikings fans.
You were thinking about which game what were you going to do about that game and stuff, right?
What?
Oh, that was the Rams game. Oh, sorry, that was the Rams game. Right.
No, the Rams game was. I don't ever want to talk about that game. I honestly don't know how I'm going to watch them play any football anymore after that losing that game against the Eagles, and then I mean, you saw have you guys seen all the things? They're now, of course, the league is rigged, and the Rams, of course, lost at home on purpose to the 49ers.
No, this is what people have to understand, and coaches, and all this. There's analytics and there's numbers and all this stuff. But the fact of the matter is, and I've talked about this, basketball and all these sports, is when teams get riddled with injuries, I'm not sure whether that means, I don't mean that their replacements are going to be as good, but everybody rallies around this, from coaching right down to everybody that's playing. Yeah. And if the other team is not careful, they could get caught, in situations.
Especially on a short week and all that.
And it's short with all of it. And you knew, and listen, and Shanahan's no freaking joke. You know what I mean? Like, he's been near the top of the league for a long time. Yeah. And he came out with a game plan, and he had that short passing game going with Mac Jones. And you know what? The Rams they were so much better. They got back in the game, and probably were favored to win down the stretch, Oh,
no, they were definitely that's what I was saying, was the way they lost. Yeah. The 2 fumbles, the fumble at the goal line, the fumble inside the 10, the missed extra point, the blocked field goal. Yeah. There was just so many things. The drop passes, like, there was just like, okay, what's happening, guys? Like, are we trying to lose this game? But they're not. In no world, I just want everybody else to understand this basic point. In no world in history is, like, it doesn't matter if things are somewhat rigged or the league wants this to happen. The Rams are not going to sign off to lose a home game to the 49ers ever. Like, it's no way it's ever happening, especially when the 49ers were 99% of the fans. It was really weird.
I'm going to tell you something else before we continue, since you brought up the Josh Oliver, whatever. Yeah. Dude, I don't know what they're going to do with this, but if they can make anything of their team out of this. But this guy, Judkins, is the freaking truth. I mean, this guy's really
100%.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
All right. Look, we'll talk about some defenses, I guess, unless Rhodey had another tight end that he wanted to throw. Oh, you did mention one. You mentioned Schultz, who I got like.
Yeah, I did mention Schultz. I don't mind him in the stack. And Ertz was another guy. I might run my Charger stack back with him or Debo. I haven't figured that out yet. And then I love Tyler Warren, like you guys mentioned, and Trey McBride. And then Ferguson's right there, and then Sam Laporta. I like him a lot today. He's a lower owned one, and I like to get a little bit more of him. You could play Dallas Goedert again too. He's getting more involved again. I like him across the middle. Maybe they got to get down the field a little bit against the Broncos defense. But yeah, I'm sticking to those main guys probably. So
yeah, it's I'm a little the Juwan Johnson projections are so different any place you look. Like, I feel like you end up with either like he ends up looking like an incredible play, or that's the one that I just can't figure out what to do with exactly. All right, we'll see if he's available even in the next 10 minutes, probably. All right, let's see. We've got defenses. I don't have anybody higher than 20%, and I'm going to stick to my take that I do not understand why why the Texans wouldn't be every bit as popular as the Saints. I like both of those teams, but I prefer Houston. And spend up, I like Arizona. Obviously, I think that makes sense. I love Seattle. I just think they're too cheap. And the Lions are the other teams that I'm playing at defense more than 10%. How about you guys? Sheets?
Well, I'm getting 46.5% Saints.
Yeah, but you can't. But you're not going to allow that to happen, are you?
No. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So so I guess my comment to you is that based on my numbers, the Saints are the best play. Okay, that's going to be, I guess, one thing. And the second thing is that there's no way I'm playing to a 46% of anybody.
Especially it's a 25% owned defense. This team everybody's playing them.
Yeah. So I am going to reduce that to some amount. Probably, I mean, at the most 20, maybe 15, but only because it's a 10-game slate, then maybe I'll allow 20. But defense, again, this is like the real, comment every single time, is that it's just too variant a position.
Yeah.
To get 40% of like anybody, So, yeah. So that's the other guys. Cardinals, I guess. Texans, like you said.
I think the Texans are an awesome play. I mean,
yeah.
Look, the Ravens run a really good offense in general that's customized to Lamar, though. And Cooper Rush against one of the top 10 defenses in football just feels like a good spot to try to play Houston. I don't know. So I could tell on my hand build that I'm gonna be leaning Houston's way quite a bit. Also, you got Carolina versus Miami. We know what Tua can do sometimes.
Yeah, you guys are stealing all my defenses when I go. I was like Panthers
Go
at
ahead,
2,500.
talk a little bit.
Titans again, even at 2,300 against the Cardinals. Murray fumbles it all the time. You got Lions would be a good spend up maybe, but they're kind of chalky. But then you got the Texans at 2,400. I mean, I like these cheap defenses, 24, 23, 2,500. So just weird quarterbacks. Players are out this week. Situations are different. So just anybody can score. We've seen a ton of defensive block kick touchdowns. We've seen pick sixes by like 6 defenses a weekend.
Yeah.
Like you can pick 6 different ones every weekend.
No, defenses have been scoring like crazy.
Yeah, it's like tons of defenses have been scoring. So I definitely agree with Sheets. Don't 50% of defense, like spread it out a little bit today. Get 15, 20% of all these different defenses.
I like if you want to spend up a little bit, I like that's not even spending up. I like Seattle against Mayfield. That's always a fun click. You know what I mean? When Mayfield goes a little bananas.
Especially in Seattle where you can't hear anything and all that.
And Seattle, like interestingly, their record in the last couple of years has been pretty bad at home for some reason. So maybe they want to get a good one in there. I don't know.
I'm telling you, the Geno Smith thing, because they had Geno before, and it's wherever Geno Smith is, the games they're supposed to win, they don't win, and the games they're supposed to lose, they win. So maybe that's a selling time for the Raiders today. And Jimmy's asking me about Mims. I guess I've become the Mims whisperer. I think Mims is a thin value that you could take a shot at. I don't think that it's as like I don't think that I'm going to end up with anything, but I think it's probably just for like maybe a morning slate type of thing. I do think that it's interesting, this just narrative driven, like should we be getting to more of Philadelphia's stacks sheets yet? Because like they didn't throw the ball last week. There's a lot of talk, a lot of narratives going on. I just thought I would sort of touch on this one more time because I think it's kind of like maybe a little bit more interesting than we talked about. No? Anybody?
Who Mims you're saying?
No. I jumped over to the Philadelphia stack on the other side of the game. I'm interested in a little bit, just that no one's playing it.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
I think it's.
Yeah, I mean AJ Brown's going to be low owned. I mean, you got a lot of
Yep.
low, and Barkley can run. I mean, Barkley can break any slate. You know, 35, 40.
Best tight end of the week last week was Dallas Goedert. By the way.
Yeah, and I mentioned Goddard. I don't mind him.
Yeah.
They're gonna, try to stop the run. The middle of the field should be wide open. If they stop Barkley, then Goddard should get a lot of dump off passes. So I like him. So
yeah. Rody, are you a Tigers person?
Yeah, I watched the game last night. It was a late game. Finished late. But yeah, I do like the Tigers. It's one of the teams I like. I like Red Wings and Tigers from my hometown, area.
Nice.
Michigan.
Well, I'm gonna come out there if the Dodgers and the Tigers I already have deals with friends, so
really nice.
The Dodgers in the World Series are against the Tigers, so I'm hoping for that one, and then I've got to think about going back to New York and seeing Sheets if they play the Yankees.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well, Yankees have ways to go.
they just got to win 3 out of 4. It's not that crazy. I do think in reality, though, if you put the best baseball teams, I think that there are 4 teams in the National League better than any team in the American League. I really do. I think that they're all better. But all right. So what else? So okay. Sheets and I both mentioned a little hot take. Sheets like the Henry. I like the Jameson Williams as the winner. Rody, I know you don't like to do it. I'm trying to think. Oh, I think a guy who's a little more reasonable that I just don't know why isn't like 25% owned. Your guy, Rody, I like the Nico Collins a lot this week. I'm
that's
Collins
probably my hot take. That team, I am a little worried. Like I probably run that stack back with Derrick Henry. Actually, if I do my CJ Stroud, Nico to Schultz. Houston's got a small defense. They're smaller defense. Henry should be able to truck stick a lot of them, and he runs a lot of guys over. I know we like the defense too, but if anything gets going for the Ravens today, I think it's going to be Derrick Henry. So. Hopefully they don't stack the box and try to just stop that. But I think that's a good play, and I do like Nico a lot today. So I'm gonna have Nico in there. Could be my hot take at lower. I mean, he's probably still around 10-11%.
Yeah, but still, like, don't you think it feels like a spot where he usually at this price be like 30 or 25% owned?
Yeah, he's cheap. Yeah, at 6,800. Like I like that a lot. I think pricing's been kind of.
It's so
low the whole season though. So I mean, we're all speculating like, oh, these guys should be like way higher owned because they're cheaper. But DK hasn't really bumped a lot of prices up this year. Even like, I mean, guys are really low owned, even though they catch 3 touchdowns a weekend.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask Sheets this question about something speaking of salary, because I noticed this week I was like, wait, I don't really like my builds that much, and when I actually expanded the pricing. To 47.5 instead of 48.5, the default, or I think it was 49 was the default, 49 to 50. I think that this is the kind of week where, like, I don't know. I think you should be like fine leaving 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 on the table in certain spots. I don't think you need that money.
Listen, I don't mind if you get to it organically, as long as you don't do it on purpose. But if you do a minimum of even 0, I have no problem with you playing whatever lineups you get.
Yeah. I would say if you are a min-max person, don't set it at 0, because you'll end up like, on a McCaffrey slate, you'll end up playing like, I don't know, the backup running back for somebody instead of McCaffrey. If you wanted to get 1% of them or something like that, it gets really weird with the builder. All right. Well, we'll be, look, it's a fun slate. It should be a fun day. Anybody else with anything else before we get out of here?
I'm good.
All right. Rody, take us on out.
All right, guys. Well, good luck to everybody today. And as always, let's get it.
Let's get it.